Welcome, everybody, to the second half of the Week 7 NFL preview, where we're talking the spreads for every single game. We're talking fantasy relevant players, just messing around. This is the Fantasy 4. If this is your first time watching, welcome, or listening in. And just a few quick reminders. We have our Justin Herbert autograph jersey giveaway. Just go to the www.thefantasy4.com and subscribe to the website, and you're automatically entered to win a Justin Herbert autographed jersey. Or if you're in it, if you like a little bit of competition, you think you know more than us, you can do our weekly pick'em challenge. We give our picks every week on the show. You go on our website, go to the daily pick'em or the weekly pick'em tab, make your picks for the week. For every week that you beat our combined average, you get a ticket. At the end of the season, if your average is better than our combined average, you get 20 tickets. And we do a raffle, and the grand prize, $1,000, 1,000 big ones. You can do a lot with $1,000. That's a lot of singles. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. It's worth it. It's fun. But that being said, and without further ado, let's get into the second half.
You mentioned like if people are listening to like the first time, and I would hope like the people listening to this aren't like mongoloids where they would go to part 2 before part 1.
That's true. Maybe
if they are though.
Yeah.
If they are though, Zeeb is still not alive. So we still have Parker.
Yeah, right. Rest in peace.
Yeah, we didn't get to get any information, so they drugged me on here.
The Zeeb is now dead theory is picking up steam.
You know, you don't see it, but like Zeeb is pointing a gun at Parker, holding him against his will to do this fucking podcast for him as he studies.
It's like the Avril Lavigne thing where everybody thinks like it's not the real Avril Lavigne. Like Parker is the fake Zebo.
Or Paul, like the Paul McCartney, like the real one actually died in the early 60s.
Or Zeeb's just doing a Halloween bit and he's being a ginger for Halloween, but we'll see.
That would be scary.
Impressive wig, right?
Got the flow going.
Let the flow.
All righty.
Let's just show off the flow. I restrained from showing off my ponytail in round 1. So.
We got 2 ponytails.
Part 1. There we go. Let's go.
Amazing, brother. All right. We'll start the games off with Washington and Green Bay. The spread is -8.5 in favor of the Packers. The over-under is at 49. I apologize to the Bears fans. One of my best friends from college, shout out to Emily Orr. She is a diehard Bears fan, and I feel very bad for her for what Aaron Rodgers did last week. That was assault, what he said to the crowd. Possibly kind of racist.
Yeah.
Kind of
also anti-troop because it's Soldier Field, and he said he
owns
owns
you.
Good point. Is Aaron Rodgers anti-American? People are asking.
Yeah, people are asking, man. So I guess you can call that an emotional game, but I provided the stats last week. Like, I think at this point he's won 20 of his past 23 games against the Bears. The man just
he owns
the franchise. He owns the franchise. It's true. So this is a pretty ugly matchup here. I can't really get a read on Washington. I'm gonna take Green Bay in the points here, -8.5. That's just my faith in Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, I'll talk a little bit from a fantasy perspective. Ricky Seals-Jones, I started him at tight end last week. He came through. A great streaming tight end option if he's still available. I doubt he is. He probably got picked up yesterday on the waivers in your leagues, but I think he is a solid start until Logan Thomas comes back. The backfield situation is kind of a mess for Washington. Antonio Gibson, I traded for him. He's been battling through like a shin injury, which is not good. So I use all of my remaining fab on J.D. McKissic. But J.D. McKissic has looked really good, but just looking at the stats, they've been flip-flopping each week on like who's like the leading point getter in that backfield. So it's really a crapshoot. I don't even know if Gibson's going to play this weekend. He's limited to practice today. The only sure thing in that offense is really Terry McLaurin. You can fire him up every week. But yeah, kind of a messy situation from the Washington perspective, but I'm just going to, stick with the Packers here. I trust Rodgers, and they're at home.
I was gonna go football team, but then so I looked at the injury reports for today. Ricky Seals-Jones was not practicing because of a quad injury, I think. Terry McLaurin was limited, Veterans Day. I think he'll end up playing. And Antonio Gibson, I believe, was limited today.
Yeah, he usually doesn't practice on Wednesdays with his injury.
So on Antonio Gibson, right. So just for the record, I'm Green Bay -8.5 here. I just think that Green Bay is a better football team. And I think that these injuries.
They're a better football team than the Washington football team?
Yeah, of course. Of course. The Green Bay football team is better. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have no problem disposing of this defense. I think it's going to be ugly. I think the -8.5 is not generous enough. Should be more. But while we're on Antonio Gibson, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor. He's got a stress fracture in his shin. And then he also had a calf injury that took him out for a little part of last week's game. I can't imagine playing football at the level of the NFL while having a stress fracture in your shin is going to do you any favors. I personally think that I think he misses time. I think that after this week, if he makes it to this week, I think he could be looking at like an IR stint. Personally, just given like the nature of the injury.
Not a doctor. This is just gut.
Not a doctor. Just gut. But listen, Mystic Mo says so. So we'll see what happens. That being said, I think Jarrett Patterson should be picked up everywhere. In the event that Gibson does go down, right, for an extended period of time.
Shout out to University of Buffalo.
They're not leaning on J.D. McKissick the entire time. And I think Jarrett Patterson could get some work. So I think he's worth an ad. I know that bench spots are valuable, especially for a week like this one where there's heavy, bye weeks. But if you could afford it, pick up Jarrett Patterson. I think he could be a valuable pickup for the second half of the season.
I took your advice and picked him up in our league because I literally have no running back. So I'm hoping it pays off.
Got to risk it to get the biscuit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I picked up Alex Collins before anyone else did, before waivers.
We got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Green Bay -8.5.
All right. I'm also going with Green Bay -8.5. What Washington did to the Sean Taylor Memorial last week was disgraceful.
Jackson Mahomes should be banned from every single NFL stadium.
Jackson Mahomes, he might be worse than Juju, to be honest with you. Yikes! That guy.
He is worse than Juju because at the very least, Juju is like he's an NFL football player, right? Like him dancing on the football field. I get it. Not a lot of people like it, but Jackson Mahomes, no business.
Garbage.
No business dancing on the memorial.
But apparently, like the number, like the 21 on the sideline was like chained off, and apparently they said that that's where like the staff told them to stand, which is also very strange.
The staff told them to stand there. They didn't tell them to post TikToks on
it. True. But it's weird for during a memorial service to have people line up where the number is chained off for people who are not associated with the family or the franchise. Just disgraceful all around. They should be relegated for that. That's why they're a team with no name. Give me Green Bay. Rodgers is going to feast. Aaron Jones will feast. Devonte Adams is going to feast. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath. It's going to be ugly out there. They might win by 100 points. Give me Green Bay.
By the way, on Devonte Adams, if I could just say,
no.
After every last week, he didn't do that. I don't think he had a good fantasy week.
He had like 4 catches for 89 yards.
Yeah, so for 89.
Yeah, I mean, he had the big one down the sideline where he almost stayed in bounds for the long touchdown, but he stepped out.
Okay, so he had a pretty good game, but for every like every game he doesn't score a touchdown, I think I saw this on again on Reddit. But the very next week he just explodes like out of his mind crazy. Devonte Adams, I think, is going to be the wide receiver 1 this week. Well,
as someone who has Devonte Adams on the team, he's a goat.
Yeah, top dog.
Okay, cool.
Park, you got any thoughts?
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have thoughts. I'm going to throw out a stat here. Since 2016, Green Bay is the best team in the league against the spread as a home favorite. They are 25, 14, and 1 since 2016. Therefore, I will be going Green Bay minus 8.5. I also like the over in this game. Washington's defense has been awful this year, like way, way worse than anyone would have guessed. Green Bay's defense is not the best either. Taylor Heineke maybe bounces back, puts up some points. I like the over and Green Bay minus 8.5 here.
Do we have any news on whether or not Fitzpatrick is going to be activated this week? Because as a Heineke owner in our Superflex league, I'm scared, but I haven't seen any news. I was
I
told
haven't seen news that he's even close.
Nah,
I think when he went down, it was going to be like I want to say it was like 6 to 8 weeks.
yeah. So this week would be like on the lower end of it, but
Yeah. He's also not practicing, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
nice.
Ron Rivera said on Monday, "No, I've been very confident in what we've done with Taylor." When asked if he would turn to another quarterback,
Yeah.
So
Oh, nut.
Also, for the Green Bay side, they just activated Bakhtiari off the injured reserve.
big,
So he's in that window to start practicing and start get out there. So that's huge for the latter half of the season to get their starting left tackle back.
big.
So that's big.
Huge.
Huge.
Alrighty. Assuming that's all we got on that one. The next matchup, we have Philadelphia Eagles in Las Vegas taking on the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 3. Over under is set at 49. Big win by the Raiders last week. I said in the last part 1 of this that one of my 2 crying coaches took home a W, and the Raiders
Rich.
had a very strong showing against the Broncos. Eagles had a tough loss on Thursday Night Football.
Covered though.
They covered though, one of the best covers I can remember in a long time. During that podcast, actually,
2-point conversion, baby.
All 4 of us were on the Eagles, and we're like, "Oh, take the Bucks. This is bad news." And by the skin of our teeth, we got that one. So it's always good to to be on the right side of those.
Yep.
So, I honestly don't have many thoughts on this game. I can't really get a feel. So I'm just going to stick with the crying coach until he lets me down. So I'm going to take the Raiders -3. That is the only reason I have.
A quick note on barely covering last week on the Philadelphia Tampa Bay game. The prop bet for Tom Brady rushing yards was 4 yards. And up until a minute left of the fourth quarter, he had 4 yards. They take 3 kneels, finishes with 1. The over-under was 3 yards rushing. And he was over it. And those 3 kneel downs brought it down to 1. But
I always thought they changed that rule so it was a team yard and not an individual player yard. But I guess that was wrong.
I guess
I thought they changed that rule.
Yeah, I guess
But,
not.
oh well.
Some people got shafted, but for this game, I like Philadelphia.
I saw someone on Twitter actually. They cashed out the prop bet before the kneels, which was a big.
That's
move.
That's a big. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, though.
No, don't worry about it. I like Philadelphia here. I think that last week's showing against the Broncos was like I don't know. I feel like teams, that go through something like this, they get super amped up, want to make a statement, want to make sure that everyone knows that it's not like that they're like it's just noise. So they put in a very, very solid performance. Derek Carr is having a great year. All that being said, I think Philadelphia stays in this. And the reason I think Philadelphia stays in this is because I think this is finally the week that they decide to use Myles Sanders. I'm going to go on the record. I know I put out an article last week saying this is it for Myles Sanders. And like Like, I don't know. Like, I'm back on him.
Put some juice on it. Take the over on his prop bets. Come on.
What's his prop bet?
Keep going. I'll tell you.
Yeah, so I like Philly here. Myles Sanders is my start of the week at the running back position. I think that they use him more. I think that they'll be able to run the ball on the Vegas Raiders line. I think they'll be able to do it. And I think this is a bounce back game. I think that, Jalen Hurts didn't put up a great performance last week, and he was in a good spot. He was my start of the week last week. He salvaged his day, but he looked awful in the process. But I think that he does better this week. And give me Philly +3 here.
I'm gonna go Vegas here. I'm just gonna, like Sten said, I'm just gonna ride Rich Bisaccia's Tier Ducks to hopefully another victory here. I love Max Crosby on the defensive line for the Raiders. He's definitely probably one of the most underrated players in the league. He should be in running for Defensive Player of the Year. He's not going to win it, but he's played outstanding this season. Derek Carr is playing amazing. I think Derek Carr's happy to get Gruden out of there because Gruden absolutely hated Derek Carr's guts. They got a lot of weapons. Ruggs is coming into his own. Waller, obviously, there. Jacobs is healthy. They started to use Drake last week. I don't trust Philly's offense or their defense. The black hole is going to be amazing. Just give me Vegas here.
I don't see the prop bet, by the way. So
It's probably because they don't even want to show it because they'll probably be negative yards.
good take.
Take the over if it's negative yards.
You sure?
That's fair. See, I'm anti Myles Sanders, opposite of Mo, but even negative yards, I'd probably take the over there. Anyway, for this game, Philadelphia to me is a enigma. They got that backdoor cover last week. They had that comeback win the week before. When you think they should win, they lose. When they should lose, they win. I'm just staying away from this game and going to enjoy the madness. I think this game, more than any others, could have just some weird shit happen in it, and it'll be a fun game toward the end, but I'm staying away.
Yeah.
Anything else we got?
No.
I'd also like to say I think Myles Sanders, as someone who went to Penn State, I think Myles Sanders is a better running back than Saquon Barkley, a pure running back, so they should use him more. Just saying.
All right.
I don't know where that came from, but that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. I'm biased.
I love Myles Sanders.
Fire James
Buy
Franklin.
low on Myles Sanders.
All right. We got a revenge game coming up next. We got the Detroit Lions in Los Angeles taking on the Rams. We got Jared Goff against Stafford and his former coach, Sean McVay. The spread is minus 15.5 in favor of the Rams, and the over-under is at 50.5. I didn't write down a play for this one, but I'm going to follow the same ideology I had a couple weeks ago when the Bills had an enormous spread against the Texans. The Rams are just a far superior team, and even though this line is ridiculous, I'm not going to be afraid of this line. Fuck you, Vegas. You can make it even higher. I'm still going to take it. Give me the Rams minus 15.5. Mo's going to get into it, but like Mo is anticipating a godlike game from Matt Stafford. So I will ride the coattails of Mystic Mo's prediction. And yeah, give me the Rams minus 15.5. Let's get ugly.
Imagine this. You waste half of your career in a deadbeat organization, right? And then that organization trades you to another organization, and that organization's quarterback takes your job that you previously had. You make the new organization 15 times better than what it was, and your old organization is 0-6. If you think Matt Stafford is not going to go into this game and toss for at least 4 touchdowns, You have lost your mind. This is going to be at first I had Detroit plus 15.5. And then we talked about it right before the show. And the cogs just started moving. I said, what am I what did I smoke to make me write Detroit plus 15.5? The Rams are far more superior. Jared Goff and the Lions are doo-doo. Not good. Everyone knows Jared Goff is so much lesser than Matthew Stafford. Right?
Fewer.
Everybody. And so far, that has been proven by the records, by the performances. But Matthew Stafford will not hesitate to stick it to this team. And Jared Goff is going to crumble under the pressure. He might have more interceptions than completions. I'm not going to go that far. But I will say he will definitely, he'll toss for a touchdown maybe and 3 picks. Get this out of here. Rams minus 15.5. This is nonsense.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams also. I don't know, I'm not an offensive genius, but I can only imagine the type of plays McVay is going to draw up to show how bad Goff was in his system and how good Stafford fits in there. I feel like they're going to throw double flea flickers, triple reverse, Hail Mary throws to Deshaun Jackson for 90 yards. I don't know what McVay is going to pull out, but he's going to pull out all the stops in this game. Yeah, I think Goff is going to, especially after what Dan Campbell said, where he said Goff has got to step up for this team. I think Goff is going to try to do too much in this game to prove that they should have kept him there. He's going to be chucking it all over the yard. He's going to have 8 interceptions in this game. Stafford's going to show out. The total is 50.5. The Rams might score 50 points in this game and cover the total by themselves. Give me the Rams here.
All right. I had written in our doc Detroit plus 15.5. And it felt gross at the time, but that's a lot of points. You guys have fully changed my mind. I'm on the Rams. I can't imagine Dan Campbell and Jared Goff keeping this close now. Give me the Rams 15.5. Thank you for letting me see the light, changing my mind.
Harvey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're just sitting there and you look at your picks and you wipe your eyes a little bit and you say Detroit, and just this moment of clarity hits you. And you're just how could I have been so stupid?
That's exactly what I went. I went through that just a minute ago, live on this show. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yep.
So, kind of related. Zeeb, RIP. He lives in. He's in Ohio, so gambling's not legal in that state. So I put in some bets for him every now and then here in the legal state of New Jersey. And earlier on the season, the Lions were in Green Bay, Monday night game, and he told me I'm gonna want to put in a bet for this game, and I just responded to him saying, if the pick is Lions money line, I'm going to cut you off and I'm not putting this bet in for you. And I think that's where he was leaning. And at that moment I knew and even in the first, I think he bet on the Lions to cover, and they had a really good first half. And then the second half, they just got dicked down by the Packers. And then I bought I drank the Dan Campbell soup last week. And
nice.
Thank you. I was off the dome. But yeah. Oh God.
Speaking of soup, I miss those Chef Boyardee commercials where the can rolls down the street. I miss those. Whatever happened to those commercials?
Yo, that's
or
you ever seen the video where they transform that song into Lil Uzi?
Yeah.
Fire.
Fucking also
fire.
the Donovan McNabb, the chunky soup with his mom in the store. Those are also very strange. But yeah.
That's a great soup segue.
Hashtag not sponsored.
It's starting to get like soup season. It's starting to get a little chilly out there.
I have some soup in my cabinet, and like I was thinking, like might be that time of year to crack into the soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
good soup talk. Is there anything else in this game?
Nice soup break. Back to it.
All right. I'm gonna move on from this game. Parker, I was kind of hoping you're gonna stick to your guns on the Lions. I'd love to hear some reasoning for the Lions, but I'm glad we convinced you.
I was ready for it. I was getting prepared, and then my mind just changed like instantly.
There's just no conceivable argument. Like,
I'm picking the Rams here, but I'm rooting for the Lions to win this game outright. If they're gonna cover, I'd rather than see them win because that would be hilarious.
They are plus 700 on the money line.
Oh, I might sprinkle a little
plus
bit.
700.
If you're going to give away the money, then just give it to me.
Okay.
And that's not even the biggest line of the week, which is crazy.
And we'll get Are we gonna get to that? Did we hit that already? Oh yeah, no, we'll get
going.
Yeah,
we got the big lines coming.
Yeah, we got 2 monster lines. So we're gonna start with the next one, which is the Bears taking on the Buccaneers in Tampa. The line for this one is minus 12.5 in favor of the Bucs. The over/under is at 47. Is another big money line. Plus 500 for the Bears. I honestly don't remember what I put down. Oh, I put down Chicago plus 12.5. I have some reasoning. give me
It's there.
It's there. Chicago has a good defense. I mean, that much is obvious. I feel like this is just too many points in this matchup. I know Fields is still coming along, and he's had his bumps during his rookie year so far, but I don't know. I buy the Chicago defense here. I don't see Tampa like slaughtering them. It's not the week.
Yeah.
I'll take the points. This is just too many points in this one. So
boy, oh boy. If you don't think that Tom Brady is going to beat this team by at least 2 touchdowns, I do not know what to tell you. Now, that being said, Allen Robinson, cover your ears right now, is my wide receiver start of the week. He's put up duds. He is the biggest fantasy bust this year, but I'm calling my shot on Allen Robinson this week. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen against this Tampa Bay secondary, right? There's just, like, it doesn't make any sense as to why he's not more involved, right? Justin Fields did miss him on a couple of big plays, missed him on a couple of blown coverages as well last week. But if it doesn't happen this week, all hope is lost. But I'm calling my shot right here. I think Allen Robinson puts up a top 24 fantasy performance at the wide receiver position. That being said, I think that they will score points. The Bears will score points. But I just think that Tampa Bay is going to score more. Tom Brady is nutty, right? They have better weapons. Leonard Fournette is looking to get significantly more involved. Bruce Arians, when asked about the prospect of trading Ronald Jones today, just laughed. You got to free my man Ronald Jones. He didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason why he should be subjected to this. But I like Tampa Bay here. I like Tampa Bay minus 12.5. I think they put up points. Chicago does too, but not within 14, not within 12.5. Give me Tampa Bay.
You're defending like Ronald Jones like he has like a charge against him for like, I'm not gonna say what, but you know what I'm going for here.
Yeah, I don't know about the Rojo defense there. As someone who has Allen Robinson on their team, and as someone who in the auction draft we had spent a considerable amount of money on Allen Robinson, I hope he does blossom into the number 1 receiver that I know he is. Justin Fields is honestly, I think he's garbage. I mean, at least he's playing like garbage. I'm hoping that they let him. I think they're obviously not going to be able to run the ball on this Tampa Bay front. So maybe they'll open it up, especially with the depleted secondary that Tampa Bay has. I'm going to take Chicago, kind of the same rationale I had for the Eagles against Tampa to cover last week. The way you beat Brady, the way you keep it close against Brady is you get interior pressure, you get pressure around the edges. Chicago does that great. Khalil Mack is playing really well. They have Akeem Hicks, Roquan Smith, the linebacker position can rush. They got a really good secondary, just good defense front to back. I think they could keep it within the 12.5 points. So I don't have a lot of faith in the Chicago offense to score with Tampa. So I'm hoping the defense shows up. So give me 12.5 here. This might be a revenge game though for Tom Brady, because as we all remember last year, this was the game where he thought the down was the 4th down, but it really wasn't 4th down anymore. So maybe that plays into Brady's here, but I'm going to take Chicago.
I'm also on Chicago. I think that's a lot of points. I think Chicago's a good enough team to cover here, and it's not Green Bay. So Chicago might actually do something here. On the fantasy side, I know a lot of people with the bye weeks are faced with, do you play Khalil Herbert again after his big week last week? Do you play Damian Williams if he gets activated off the COVID list? There's a lot of question marks, but they are going against the Tampa Bay defense. So what do you guys think about either of those options?
Tampa Bay's run defense is stout.
Yeah, but the thing is,
just moves guys off the line.
if you spent on Damian, like if you got Damian Williams, you spent a ton of fab on him, right? So the likelihood of you being able to sit him in a week this thin at running back is pretty slim. So I think you're starting him, and then Khalil Herbert. I mean, if you have other options, I would play him over Khalil Herbert, but it's tough.
Yeah, two mediocre options, especially against this defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine that there would be any sort of space there. How did was Khalil Herbert catching passes out of the backfield last week?
He played really well last week.
He had a good game.
Well, he had over 100 rushing, or like 97.
Yeah, and a touchdown. Yeah, and a touchdown.
Yeah,
killed me last week with Juan. But
in all fairness, Juan's entire team, he mauled you, but
he mauled me. Yeah.
Last week in the air, he had 3 targets, 2 catches, and 15 yards. So
not great, but I think maybe they use him more. So, I mean, I think that regardless, like the formula for running backs against Tampa Bay is, do you catch passes and what do you do with those passes? We saw Myles Gaskin score more points in 1 week than he did all season combined against them using that formula.
Yeah, I think it's also because the front of Tampa's is so good that there's definitely a lot of checkdowns going on to the running back.
Yeah, for shizzle.
Indeed.
All right. We'll move on to the biggest spread of the week, as we hinted at earlier. We got the Houston Texans in Arizona taking on the undefeated Cardinals. This is a massive 17.5 point spread in favor of the Cardinals with a 47.5 over under. The Texans are plus 924 on the money line if you want to burn some money. Yeah, I mean, earlier I was saying, like, I think this is in part 1 of the podcast, I was saying, like, when I see a line, like, actually no, it was in this podcast. I'm losing my marbles. When I see a line like really big, I usually gravitated to take the ridiculous line, but I'm gonna go against that. I kind of like Houston here. I've been betting against Arizona like every week on this show, and I've been losing, and my luck's got to turn around eventually. 70.5. I mean, I get Houston's bad. I guess, like, I know, it's fucking Davis Mills, and like Arizona has an amazing offense. They got to have probably like the most stacked wide receiver core in the NFL. Like,
I'd say maybe the
Tampa
Cowboys
Bay.
or Tampa Bay.
Yeah, like Tampa Bay, but like AJ Green's putting up numbers. He's like what, the 4th guy in that offense, and they just traded for Zach Ertz. We'll be excited to see him out there with the team. Yeah, I don't love it, but I'll take Houston. It's too many points. It's too many points.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, give me Arizona here. I was before. I mean, me listening to my picks to like 2 weeks ago, I'd be like, "You're out of your mind," because I was also part of like, that's too many points. The second I moved off the too many points thing was when I looked when the Bills played the Texans a couple weeks ago, and the spread was like minus 18.5, and I was like, "That is massive. There's no way. Like that's just too big." And they beat them by 33. Yeah, no, thank you, Michael Scott. And they beat them by 33. They beat the brakes off of them. Arizona's front four, they get to the quarterback. I think they'll get to Davis Mills here. They do not have the weapons to keep up with Arizona. Arizona can cut them up every which way. My only hesitation here is that I could see a situation where Arizona goes up big, like goes up by a couple touchdowns, and then it's the James Conner show to just like grind out the clock, especially if Chase Edmonds is still lingering, or that shoulder injury is still lingering. So that's my only reservation as to why this may be too many points. I think that at a certain point, Arizona is just going to ram 3 yards per carry James Conner, down their throats, and really run down the clock. That being said, I still like Arizona minus 17.5 here. We're talking about the Rams being far more superior than the Lions. The difference between the Cardinals and the Texans, I think, is significantly bigger. The Texans have nothing going for them, like zilch. So I have Arizona minus 17.5 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Pains me, but I'm gonna go Houston here. This feels like a little bit of a trap game for me, like coming off a win against Cleveland, albeit against a depleted team, but it's still a pretty big win. And then next week, they have a short week. They're playing Thursday, big game against the Packers on Thursday night. So maybe overlooking Houston. They'll still be able to win probably pretty handily. I just don't know if they got to win by 18 points, and that's a lot. I know we were talking about you were talking about the Bills earlier against the Texans, but it's just a lot of points. They get paid too. Like they're professionals on the other side. Like they got families to look after. I mean, that's a lot of points. Have some pride. Do it for David Culley. I don't know. Do it for somebody. Go Houston plus 17.5. I'm not going to feel good about it, but here we are.
The line is so large and so gross that I'm going to stay away from it, but I do really like the over in this game. Over is 47.5. I think Arizona will get almost all the way to that. So just need Houston to chip in like 10 points, I think, to hit that over. So I'm going that instead of the spread. I think as far as Arizona, I think they do have the most dynamic offense in the league right now. They just have so many weapons, obviously through the passing game, and Kyler's doing a great job this year passing the ball, but also like James Conner has looked pretty damn good running the ball this year. Surprising to me because I thought he looked nearly washed out last year in Pittsburgh, but I just think not having the full like bell cow role just allows him to like be a lot better. And him and Chase Edmonds are a really good 1-2 punch. Do you guys think Arizona, are they the best team in the league or best team in the NFC at least right now? No.
No.
Who is better than them in the NFC?
I think the Cowboys are better.
They're not the best team in their division. I think the Rams are better.
Really?
Wow. Even though they beat them?
I would take the Rams.
Yeah, it was an early season game. I think when the stakes are higher, I think McVay is going to destroy Cliff. I have no faith in Cliff. And I think there's a bit, this is the old Bill Simmons thing, the Ewing theory. Like, Cliff didn't even coach last week, and they rolled. So I think when it's going to be on Cliff to make some game management, and in a close game, I'm not going to trust that dude. So
yeah, they to me kind of feel like the Steelers of last year when they started 11-0 and kind of faltered at the end of the season. You're not going to have the issue with Big Ben like falling falling apart with the same with Kyler. But I don't know. I got to see it to believe it. I feel like they're kind of like the Browns, where like last year, like, yeah, they keep winning, but I got to keep seeing them win against quality teams. And the Cardinals, I got to see it to believe it, especially with Kingsbury.
I don't know. I feel like Arizona they've played some decent teams.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Like compared to
They
like
beat they beat the Browns. That's a big one.
Pittsburgh last year, they beat the Rams.
I mean, they beat the Jaguars and they beat the Vikings on that last second missed field goal from like 20 yards
That
out.
was lucky. That was just the Vikings being the Vikings.
And they beat the 49ers in like Trey Lance's first start by a touchdown.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not entirely sold. If they beat the Packers on Thursday night next week, then I'll be sold.
I think that I would take, like you said, I would take the Rams over them. I would take the Buccaneers over them. I would take the Cowboys right now over them.
I would take Green Bay.
I would take Green Bay over them.
Yeah, not a believer, man.
That's good. Yeah, I guess on the only one. I think Arizona's probably 2 in the
Ooh.
NFC.
Ooh.
Who's one?
I would say Tampa Bay.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, boys, got 2 more games left, and now
Yeah.
we're going to the 2 remaining primetime games. So Sunday night, not the most appealing matchup. We got the Colts and San Francisco taking on the 49ers. The 49ers, I believe, are favored by 4. Yep. And the over-under is at 44. This is another one I really couldn't get a good read on. Carson Wentz played, the past 2 weeks, he's played really well. Definitely the best he's played this year. For the 49ers, seems like no Trey Lance this week. Looks like it's going to be Jimmy G back at it. Brandon Ayuk obviously has been one of the biggest busts in all fantasy this year. So that's been tough for any owners. The only pick I have here as a Elijah Mitchell owner who actually traded with Parker to get Elijah Mitchell.
Boy, do I regret that now. Oof.
I love the
That's it.
over 59.5 rushing yard prop. So I'm going to take that as my only pick in this game. I think this is going to be a game where, especially with Jimmy G coming back from injury, they're going to be classic 49ers. They're going to be pounding their rotation of running backs. But based on the conversations and, the news coming out, seems like Elijah Mitchell is the guy, even though they'll mix in some Trey Sermon. And later on this year, they're going to get Hasty back and Jeff Wilson Jr. back. But for now, I feel like I'm pretty confident in this Elijah Mitchell bet. So roll with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I had Indy. I had the Colts +4, but I'm gonna change it. I like San Francisco -4 here. For a lot of the reasons that Stens said. The Indianapolis secondary and defense altogether is banged up. They are starting Jimmy G, who is better in terms of moving the football. Like, I just think he's better than Trey Lance right now, a better option for this team. I think that San Francisco has more weapons. I think outside of Jonathan Taylor, I don't think Carson Wentz can repeat his performance last week. And then there's also the fact that if Carson Wentz is playing with some pressure, because in the event that I think, what is it? If you play 75% of the games, then they owe that first round pick to the Dolphins,
Eagles.
to the Eagles. Yeah. So I could see there's some pressure on him, because if they start losing, and it's just not worth it, if they're not going to make the playoffs, I could see him shutting him down. So I like.
It's funny. I said that last week.
Yeah. I piggyback off of this from Big E. Give me San Francisco -4 here.
I'm gonna go with the Colts here. I like what they're doing. They should have been the Ravens. Fell apart at the end there. Lamar Magic at the end of that game. They whooped the Texans last week. Wentz has played really well. The injury at receivers, and they just lost Paris Campbell. T.Y. didn't practice today, and he was coming off the IR, so not great. So I'm not sure how, the weapons they're going to have.
Mo
against
Alley
this team,
Cox could start at tight end.
True, Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle. So the offense isn't great, but the 49ers offense isn't performing well either. Kittle, I don't know. I've not been following his stats, but I feel like Kittle hasn't
He's
been
on the
playing
IR.
that well.
He's on
Is
the
he
IR.
really?
Yeah, he's hurt. Yep.
But before that, he wasn't playing well.
He was not. No.
No.
So I don't know. San Francisco, these teams are both kind of weird. I feel like they're both in a very similar situation where if they don't start winning soon, they're gonna be too far behind in their divisions to come back and too far behind in the wild card. So this is a big game for both these teams if they want to have any chance to make the playoffs, especially the 49ers in the NFC West. But I just have more faith in the way Wentz has been playing right now than Garoppolo coming off his 15th injury in 2 weeks. So give me the Colts here.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think Kyle Shanahan's record is as a head coach?
It's probably worse than we think it is.
He can't be significantly over like 500. He's got how many games is it total?
It would have been 4 years, 5 years,
72 games.
72 games.
Give me.
I'm gonna go 500, like on the dot.
I'll go 33 and however many losses.
I'm gonna go with.
What, it's 72, so 33 and 39.
I'm gonna go with 28 and 40, whatever it is.
That's the point I'm trying to make. His record, actually, you nailed it, Mo. It is 33 and 39.
Bang.
Everyone gives him all this credit, and I think he is a great offensive coach, but his record as a head coach, not that good. I don't think he's like on the hot seat yet, but if they don't do anything this year, I think you're gonna have to start thinking like, is this dude actually our guy? That's probably a little bit of a hot take because I feel like most people are in love with Kyle Shanahan and thinks he's a genius on offense, which he is, but I just think he gets too much credit. So I wanted to point that out real quick.
He does own Sean McVay though.
What was that?
He owns Sean McVay.
Yes.
I think that this year that was the first time he lost to them since they've been together, like in the division.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that one.
Yeah.
All right. Even with that slander of Shanahan, I still think San Fran -4 is the play. I don't believe in the Colts at all. And I think with Jimmy G, this team's just a much better team right now with Jimmy G than Trey Lance. Trey Lance, electric to watch, great for fantasy football, but just not going to give you a better chance to win than Jimmy G. So I think Jimmy G takes care of the ball. They use their stable of running backs, like Stens said, and I think they get this win at home. So San Francisco -4, I'd say.
Beautiful. One last game. We get the Monday night game. This is another one that when they scheduled it, a lot more appealing. But what's the nickname Russell Wilson gave himself? The really bad one, Mr.
I just know it's some corny ass shit.
Yeah, that really. Whatever. I'm blanking out on it, but
probably some shit like Mr. Fantastic or something.
Yeah, it's like
was it that? Was it? I think it was actually.
Mm-mm.
There's no way. There's no shot he's calling himself that.
Some Mr. Fantastic, but whatever.
Like a professor.
Oh, it's dangerous. Was he like Mr. Dangerous? So he's like playing dangerous, something like that. I don't know.
Well, Dangerous was like
no, Mr. Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There we go. I needed that.
My man is Mr. Breadsticks at Olive Garden, baby. Unlimited.
What he did for the pregame last week was corny. When he was like fake being in the huddle, it was garbage to watch.
I thought you said vaping in the huddle. I would have been pretty sick.
Yeah, like I don't understand.
He's a vape
like,
god.
How does that in any way, shape, or form like assist you, like help you? Like I get it. I've never
mental
played
reps, dude. Mental reps.
What the? All right.
Let's just get with the game.
Yeah, let's get this one over with.
Yeah.
The Saints are in Seattle. The Saints are favored by 5. The longest time I don't remember a road favor like that in Seattle. And the sole reason is my man, Geno Smith. Geno Smith had a back-breaking fumble to end that game. That was a shit end to the Sunday night game where Big Ben nearly threw like a pick six to Jamal Adams, but Jamal Adams, who's the most overrated player in all
Blitz
football,
boy.
fucking blitz boy.
Excuse me. That's
He's
the best
garbage.
in the nation.
Oh yeah,
Jamal
the
Adams.
best in the nation, Jamal Adams. Yep.
Oh, I do want to defend Jamal Adams there. I saw on Twitter that he was like referencing someone like who had died who said that in an interview once.
Yeah, I'd be okay if
I don't feel bad.
literally anybody else honored his legacy, but you can't do that as Jamal Adams. Like it's not possible.
Yeah, so I'm gonna involve some personal bias, which you should not do with betting, but I am heavily rooting against Seattle for the rest of the year because the Jets own their first round pick. So every loss I can get, I will take, and I will take the Saints here -5 because I do not. I mean, besides that, and I'm rooting against them, I don't trust Geno Smith. So take the Saints -5. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, I am starting Geno Smith this week in our Superflex League. I'm not excited about it. The Saints defense is for realsies. And Seattle's offense is not for realsies. Okay? Hard-hitting analysis here. Geno Smith not going to get the job done against these Saints. Alex Collins.
We're running out of
Question-
steam here,
Enough
boys.
with Alex Collins. Let's go.
Questionable. Well, he's questionable.
No one cares.
He's questionable. Well, this matters because they won't be able to, they're not going to be able to run the ball. Rashad Penny? Is he going to run the
Penny's
ball?
a better back than Alex Collins.
Oh,
Dude.
blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Just tell us your pick.
He hasn't been on the field long enough for you to even say that. New Orleans, -5.5. Easy money. Easy money.
Yeah.
Locked and loaded.
I don't have too much analysis here, other than the fact that the Saints lost to the Giants. I have no idea what to think with the Saints team. One game, Jameis Winston is just chucking up Hail Marys to Marquez Callaway for tutties. And the other, he is looking like pre-LASIK Jameis. So I'm going to go with Seattle just to keep it close. I don't expect them to win this game, but I think they'll keep it within the number and they'll be able to cover, especially on the Monday night prime time. New Orleans usually doesn't play well on the road outside of the Superdome. Seattle's obviously the 12th man Monday night. I think they'll be rocking. I think it'll be close. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, I was really unsure what to pick on this spread here because it's such a weird spot. Like Seattle's rarely ever an underdog at home. This New Orleans team to me is very weird with Jameis at quarterback. I never know what to think about him. I mean, I always root for Jameis to air it out. Watching him throw bombs, whether it's picks or touchdowns, is awesome to watch. So hopefully that happens in this game. And I think it's going to be higher scoring than we think. So I'm taking the over 43. I think that's a pretty low bar to cross. So I just think Seattle's D is so bad that Seattle's offense is going to have to score to keep up. So I think the over hits here.
If I could just add, while you said that, Parker, I locked in the under for 43.
Awesome.
Seattle's defense has not been good, but like you said, Jameis Winston, 1 week he's good, 1 week he's awful. But if you look at the weeks he's good, he's like 30% of his passes are for touchdowns. So it's like I don't think that you could do that consistently. And then in the games where he doesn't do that, he stinks. So I just don't believe in it. And I also don't believe in Geno Smith to be able to do anything against the Saints defense. So I think this is going to be like a grueling game. I can't imagine both teams get to 21 points.
Okay.
All right. We're at odds here. Let's get it.
We'll see. We'll get some differentials. There's a bunch of differential matchups here. I'm the only one with Tampa, only one with Philly.
What was our bet on the Tua one
Top
again?
16. Top 16. Ain't never forget it. He might be
All right.
top 8. But I think that's all we have for you on today's episode, the second half of the Week 7 preview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We got a massive week ahead. Bye week matchups in fantasy football, and just a lot of football to watch. So if you disagree with your picks, if you agree with our picks, if you think you know better, whatever the case may be, make sure to play our weekly pick'em challenge, www.thefantasy4.com. Go to the weekly pick'em challenge and make your picks, and you get entered into a raffle at the end of the year. You can win some money. So be sure to enter that. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. This is the Fantasy 4, and we will be back next week.
Later.
Bye.